History is not just a record of what we did right. It is, perhaps more importantly, a ledger of our errors, a chronicle of decisions made in rooms of power that spiraled into consequences never intended. And some dates seem to attract these turning points. Today, we examine 3 of them. This is December 4th in America's history, the greatest mistakes. We're defining a greatest mistake by 3 rules. 1, it had significant and lasting consequences. 2, there were clear alternatives or warnings at the time. And 3, it offers a vital, unlearned lesson for our future. What happened on this day that fits that bill? Let's begin in the winter of 1969. Mistake number 1. The night the social contract shattered. December 4th, 1969. 4:45 a.m. An apartment at 2337 West Monroe Street in Chicago is quiet. Inside sleeps 21-year-old Fred Hampton, the dynamic chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party. He's not just a radical, he's a bridge builder, successfully forging a rainbow coalition with Puerto Rican and poor white groups. He is, by any measure, a potent political organizer. And the state has been watching him. For months, the FBI's covert COINTELPRO program has sought to neutralize him. They planted an informant, William O'Neill, who provided a detailed floor plan of the apartment. The Chicago Police Department's State's Attorney's Special Unit was briefed. They knew where everyone slept. The raid that followed wasn't a chaotic shootout as initially reported. Subsequent investigations revealed a coordinated assault. Police fired roughly 99 shots, the Panthers maybe 1. Fred Hampton was killed in his bed, shot twice at close range. Mark Clark at the door was also killed. The mistake here was catastrophic and layered. State-sanctioned assassination. A democratic government executing a citizen without trial for his political activity. Weaponizing intelligence. The FBI's illegal surveillance program directly facilitated a murder. Institutional arrogance. The belief that eliminating a charismatic leader would eliminate a movement, rather than inflame it. The consequence: a permanent rupture in trust between minority communities and law enforcement. It exposed a chilling truth. The government could be an existential threat to its own citizens. It created a martyr, galvanizing activism while deepening paranoia. The cost was measured in lives lost, in faith destroyed, and in proving the very systemic violence the Panthers protested was real. Mistake number 2. The raid that missed the war. A century earlier, on another December 4th, a different kind of mistake was unfolding, one of wasted blood and strategic blindness, in the final bloody act of the Civil War. December 4th, 1864. Union General George Stoneman leads 5,500 cavalrymen out of Knoxville, Tennessee. His mission: a deep raid into southwestern Virginia to destroy the salt works, lead mines, and, most importantly, the Virginia and Tennessee Railroad. This was the last major supply line feeding General Lee's army, besieged at Petersburg. The mistake: it was one of tragic timing and stubborn dogma. While Stoneman embarked on a classic, Napoleonic-era cavalry raid to disrupt supply lines, General Sherman was already proving that war had evolved. His march to the sea, underway at that very moment, wasn't about defeating armies in the field. It was about breaking the will and economic capacity of the South itself. Total war. Stoneman's raid was tactically successful. He did damage infrastructure. But strategically, it was a fossil. It committed thousands of elite troops, horses, and supplies to a peripheral theater for marginal gain. These were resources that could have reinforced Grant at Petersburg to end the siege sooner, or supported Sherman to make his crippling blow even faster. The mistake: fighting the last war. Command was focused on severing a railroad to an army already on the brink, while the innovative strategy that would define modern warfare and actually end the conflict was being pioneered elsewhere. It was a failure of imagination at the highest levels. The consequence: prolonged suffering. Every week the war dragged on meant thousands more dead and wounded. Stoneman's raid, while brave, may have inadvertently helped extend the war by focusing on traditional targets rather than the war's new, psychological center of gravity. The cost was measured in wasted lives and delayed peace. Mistake number 3, the deregulation trap. From the battlefields of the 1860s and the streets of the 1960s, our final December 4th mistake takes us to the boardrooms and regulatory offices of 1980, where a different kind of warfare, economic warfare, was being dangerously miscalibrated. To understand December 4th, 1980, we need context. That March, facing an economy in stagflation, President Carter signed the Depository Institutions Deregulation and Monetary Control Act. It began the process of loosening New Deal-era rules on banks and savings and loans, S&LS. The goal was to help them compete, but the devil was in the implementation. On December 4th, 1980, the Carter administration's Federal Home Loan Bank Board issued a critical ruling. It dramatically lowered the capital requirements for S&LS, the amount of their own money they needed to hold in reserve. Simultaneously, it let them shift from their traditional, boring role of funding home mortgages into far riskier commercial real estate and direct investments. The mistake. It was a perfect cocktail of ideological fervor and poor oversight. Moral hazard unleashed. S&LS were now gambling with deposits insured by the federal government, the FSLLC. Heads, they won. Tails, the taxpayer lost. Regulatory abdication. The watchdogs weren't just asleep. They'd handed the keys to the henhouse to the foxes. The December 4th rule change was a green light for speculation. The consequence was the savings and loan crisis of the late 1980s and early 1990s. Over 1,000 S&LS failed. The cleanup cost U.S. taxpayers approximately $160 billion in today's dollars. It wiped out the savings of countless families and devastated communities. Crucially, it set the ideological and regulatory precedent for the even larger-scale financial deregulation that would culminate in the 2008 global financial crisis. The cost? Economic devastation for the middle class, a massive transfer of public wealth to cover private losses, and a lasting lesson in what happens when ideology trumps prudent guardrails. The pattern and the modern echo. 3 mistakes, different eras, different sectors, but the pattern is unervingly clear. Each represents a profound institutional failure. 1969, the failure of the justice and intelligence institutions, which chose elimination over engagement. 1864, the failure of military institution, clinging to old tactics in a new war. 1980, the failure of regulatory and economic institutions, believing the market needed no referees. In each case, the institution valued its own internal logic. COINTELPRO's neutralize orders, the Army's doctrine of raids, the economic dogma of deregulation, over the people it was meant to serve and protect. Warnings from the margins were ignored. Short-term thinking blinded long-term vision. Conclusion: these December 4th mistakes aren't just history, they're blueprints. The surveillance debates of today echo S&LCrisis. Our forever wars and military overextension can trace a line back to misallocated strategies like Stoneman's raid, and the 2008 crisis, and even our current banking tremors, are direct descendants of the regulatory abdication cemented on December 4th, 1980. The lesson isn't that America is uniquely flawed. It's that power, left unchecked and unreflective, tends to repeat its errors. Vigilance, informed, skeptical civic vigilance is the only antidote. Which of these December 4th mistakes do you think offers the most urgent lesson for us right now? Let's discuss it in the comments. If you believe that understanding these hard histories is crucial to building a better future, then help this channel grow. Like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We delve into the past not to live there, but to navigate our present with clearer eyes. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious.